Now we're talking about the DNA of business. And for that, we have the leader of the Awesome Women's Group, Rosanna, and she is going to be bringing that information to us on the 530 grid and helping us understand how that's going to help us fine-tune our profitable systems. Rosanna, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. Last month, we talked about attracting profitable clients. This month, we're talking about fine-tuning our profitable systems. And what does that mean? Well, take examples that you have a good recipe and everyone likes it, and every time you make it, you follow it to the T. You know, the 530 grid is very much like that recipe for the business world. It takes what you do to the first, as identifying the target. Then it takes you to number 2, develop and deliver a message. 3, track 100% of your leads. 4, ask key questions, which we call the 30-minute strategy session. And if you're looking at the screen, you might actually see the 530 grid on the screen, and you can see the numbers beside the things that I'm talking about. And number 5, you implement the 10-plus strategic strike. And number 6, you group people and messages together. You know, on the 530 grid, we call that the 6 steps, the golden triangle. And for those of you that wonder what that is, here's a whole workbook on the golden triangle. Now, it's not just a recipe for one thing, but it's a whole recipe book. And if you're interested in it, you might want to check with the people that are on this call and see if you can get more information on how to attain one of those wonderful books. So now we have the recipe. But, you know, it needs to be fine-tuned. And some of those that are making it like to add special taste, a little more spice or sweetness, a little more salt or a little more sugar. And so we take the recipe and we're adding a little more pizzazz to the recipe. In business sometimes, what works on one person, you know, won't appeal to another. So you have to spice up your system to attract a new clients or to get clients you have happy. This is taking the systems we have and fine-tuning them. This can be done by changing up the messages to get better copy. It can be allowing different cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, and let a different personality, like Cheryl talked about, the spreading, the selling, writing the copy, or helping you with your spreadsheets that are tracking the leads. Fine-tuning the Vista system can help you bring in more clients, profitable ones like we talked about last month. Faster sales, keeping more clients happy so we don't lose them. But after a while, you know, a recipe can get old. So we look at what brought success in the past and we spice it up. Notice, I didn't say throw the recipe away or start over with a whole new system. We need to fine-tune the systems we have to bring more desirable results. You know, thank you for hanging out in my kitchen with me. Our business systems are very important to success. So look at yours, the 530 grid, and see what you can do to fine-tune it to bring success to your business. Meanwhile, I'm going to test out this cookie that I made and see if I need to fine-tune my recipe. Thank you. Yum.
I'm hungry. Oh, my goodness. That's fantastic, Rosanna. Thank you so much. Wow. What a great analogy. And that's spectacular. I'm blown away. Emily, did you have a question for Rosanna?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to know when you're fine-tuning, you know, your systems for the 530 grid, what do you think is the thing that you should fine-tune first before the others?
Well, I think you need to look at your system and see what's falling through. Is it the clients are dropping off? Or is it that, they're not happy? Or is it that you're not bringing new people in? And so you need to look at the different avenues that you're working with, and I think they call it the leaky pipe, and see what needs to be fine-tuned. Maybe it's just making sure that you have more of your leads tracked better or notes on your leads better. And so I think it's just looking at the system and seeing what's the best thing to follow up on, see what's falling through. Any other thoughts on that, possibly, Mark? Do you have any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Rosanna's absolutely right. So if you want to take your business from your income from 100 to 200,000 or 250, you've got to have a different engine. Just like a car that's designed to go 100 miles an hour, you might go to 110, 120, but you're not going to get to 250. You've got to have a different engine. And it could be, $1 million to $2 million, $1 billion to $2 billion. It doesn't matter. It's all, whenever you roughly double from 50 to 100 to 250 to a half a million, 2.5 million, you've got to get a new engine. But often what we have is we have leaky pipes. We have a small amount. So we may have 4 out of the 5 pipes at $1 million, but if one of them's only at 200,000, we're only going to do 200,000. How do you do that? I would recommend what's called the business X-ray. It looks at 3 dimensions, 9 major areas, 7 systems, looks at over 40 areas of your business and life, what you're doing right, little tweaks that you could do to improve. It really looks at not only the 530 grid, but the expansion into the leadership, and then the expansion into profitable partnerships, and then also over 40 areas, of your business and life. So it's really a powerful tool. It's what's called a level 3 and level 4 examination. And so that's a great tool that people can access.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. Are there any other questions here for Rosanna?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is Cheryl.
Go ahead.
I actually had a question about wondering if you need to change the questions you ask. I mean, if you're supposed to ask key questions, do they need to be revamped?
Yeah, I noted that because sometimes the questions you're asking may not be getting deep down to what the person is looking for. And so, yes, maybe having a different personality, look at the questions. Maybe they need to add lib to the questions a little bit to get people to be drawn in.
I might, that's a little dicey because often people aren't comfortable with questions, and so they ad lib. So Rosanna's right, but you better know what you're doing. Like, you have to, to break the rules, you first must master them. And so the core questions, like there's 4 levels of questions. And so the level 1 questions have been researched and experimented with for over 30 years. And I would not deviate from those in almost any situation. Level 2 questions, more customizable, a little bit more. Level 3, totally customizable. So level 2 and 3, maybe 4 too, those are going to be customizable, but you want to be really, really careful. And you don't want just anybody changing the questions. That will create a disaster. It's like McDonald's doesn't let every restaurant change, how much salt they put on the fries based on their own personal preference. If that makes sense.
Very good point, Mark. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Right. But to Rosanna's point, and bridging that with what you said, Mark, is that maybe there's a slight tweak, but don't change the basic recipe. But what I'm hearing you say is there's a basic recipe. Don't mess with it. Like, for instance, bread. It's flour, water, yeast, and salt. That's a non-negotiable. And if we can stick to that, then maybe we add, an additional ingredient down the road, but we have the same basic things that are tried and true, and those are the things that are the foundation, so that because we could have a completely different result.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
The thought in the notes that I said is don't throw the recipe away. So you're not throwing away something good. You're just adding to it. And maybe you want to make sure that you check with people who have actually helped you to develop the system to see if the addition is a good or bad thing.
Right. That's wise. And for anyone, thank you so much, Rosanna. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Cheryl and Mark, for jumping in here with good questions. I'm just going to circle back to what Rosanna said about the Golden Triangle and the coffee connections. If you'd like to get one of those contact the person that invited you, or you could go ahead and send us a Twitter tweet at MM_SEMINARS. Again, that's MM_seminars, or click on the video live chat, and we will get that information to you.